Hello everybody, my name is Bob Pickard and I'm the host of the marketing program for ITV Japan. I'm also the president of Edelman Japan KK. Today we're really pleased to have with us Ms. Yuri Kageyama, who is with the Associated Press, a correspondent here in Tokyo at their bureau. She's going to be talking about the life of a foreign correspondent and the trends in media and marketing that are reshaping the world that impacts the journalist's life. So Yuri, welcome to our program.
Thank you.
First of all, let me tell you about Associated Press's reputation. It has this massive world-famous profile. It has been in business for so long. Everybody thinks of it as like the world's mighty wire service. Is that an accurate impression of your organization?
Yeah, I think that's part of our reputation. You know, we're the largest in the world.
Yes.
We've been around, since the 1800s.
Wow.
And we have correspondents in all the major cities around the world.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's important at a time when the newspaper industry is shrinking,
yes,
and they can't afford to have as many of the resources that they used to have outside of the U.S. as they can. So even though there's a lot of fears about what's going to happen to the future of the industry, I think that they rely on us more to get the news out of places like Tokyo.
How long have you been with the bureau here in Tokyo?
First, I started out as a local hire.
I see.
And then I went to the Detroit bureau, and then I came back as the correspondent. And I did general news and sports and other news before, but for the last several years, I've just been doing business news out of Tokyo.
And do you enjoy it?
Oh yeah, it's great. It's one of the areas in Tokyo news that I think has potential to grow because there's so much interest in business, Tokyo business. It's still the second largest economy in the world. We have all the big global names, Sony, Toyota. We have robotics, technology, all different kinds of things that we can cover.
So when you file stories from Tokyo overseas, do you find that there's still a fairly automatic interest in stories from Japan? Does news from here still automatically get that kind of interest?
It depends on what kind of stories.
Okay.
I think if you're talking about the general public, the person off the street in the United States, who may not be, experts about Asia,
yes,
I think the big country that they're looking at is China. They're interested in China, and anything with China in it, they think that's important. And it's maybe harder to sell them with a Japan story. But I think depending on how you do it, I mean, they're still interested in Toyota, for example, because that's probably the car that they're driving. So I think we have to adjust to the times and do stories differently, but we do that anyway. We've been doing that all the time, so it's not new in that sense.
AP has been doing that differently, hasn't it? And there's a lot of different platforms now, media platforms that use your content beyond just the traditional print newspaper, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, people go online for news now, not to that newspaper, the paper newspaper that's delivered at their door. I mean, that's hardly existent now.
So your content then, it's text. The stories are written obviously, but do they always go with pictures and video now as well? In every case, or just some cases?
Just some, because some stories are a lot more conducive to video than others, obviously.
Sure.
And then, well, we always try to have some kind of photo because that helps sell the story. People like to know what they're reading about, but not. I don't think every story needs a video. I mean, that's just going to be too much. I mean, because of the attention span of our readers, as they go online, they're going to want everything faster.
Yes.
And and you're also reaching readers who may be specialists or experts in certain fields. For example, like let's say they're geeks and they want to know about what's happening with their video game.
Right.
Then you may just need to send a short story for them and maybe a longer story for the others. So there's all kinds of needs developing at various levels. So yeah.
Now you've mentioned that you cover business, but which industry these days do you find yourself most interested in writing about, in covering as a journalist?
In Tokyo, I would say electronics, autos, but also macroeconomics, including central bank economic trends, also technology, as I said, the internet, science. All these are part of business. And the other thing is even cultural trends or consumer trends or marketing or any of these other things that you associate with general news, maybe part of business news. I mean, remember, like, I'm the only business reporter in the Tokyo Bureau of the Associated Press. Our competition has dozens of people. I mean, if I go to a news conference and I'm covering a news conference, my competition may have 3 people, playing musical chairs, running in and out, whereas I'm there by myself, trying to satisfy our readers.
So you have to pick and choose your stories with care.
Oh yeah, obviously. And also you have to rely on the technology. I mean, while you're listening to the person or even raising your hand to ask a question, you're filing as you go.
Sure.
And that can be done.
How do you pick that story, though? Let me ask you, regardless of company or regardless of which industry it is, just in general, what makes for a good news story? What are the ingredients of a good news story, do you think?
For the AP, it might be different for other
Sure. Well, for AP then.
But for the AP, I think it is what interests our readers. It's not a public service. I mean, in the generic way,
okay.
But there's an element of that, and we always have to make the correct news judgment so that when a reader see that the AP tag is on our story, that it's going to be accurate. I mean, it's got to be right, and it also has to be objective.
Right.
And there's no self-interest involved in the part of the reporter. That we're good people, we're good reporters trying to deliver that news to the reader. I think that's the bottom line. So elections are going to be important to us, and that's when we show, we don't hurry with the call, like the election's coming out July 29th. Mm-hmm. If they see that the AP said some party won, then that may be more credible than other organizations, that kind of thing.
Sure.
But well, what do you think? I mean, I'm not.
I think 3 C's basically. I think the color, mm-hmm. The contrast, the conflict really in a story. I don't think most news stories are about people agreeing on things. I think they're about active disagreement. I think mm-hmm. there's vivid word pictures or colorful images, or the correction of the past with the present. But